Ooh, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Hopefully, you guys don't hear too much of the music that's going on in the background. I know YouTube kind of strict about flagging videos because of unlicensed music and all that good jazz. So hopefully we good on that. But welcome to the channel, man. So this video is going to be a continuation of the video where I talked about spirituality. Um, the previous video that I did when I spoke about coming into your spirituality, this is going to be a continuation of that video. Um, okay, cool. The reason why I wanted to do a continuation of it was because the last part, when I started talking about intuition, I feel like I kind of rushed it and ended the video because that was towards the end of the video. And I feel like intuition deserves um, a little more space and opportunity to be expounded upon when you're speaking about it. So this is not going to be a long video. Like I said, it's a continuation from the second one. So this is just kind of the rest of it that should have been in that first video, but I didn't want to do like cuttings and clippings and all that jazz. So one of the main things that I notice when people are talking about when people are talking in the spiritual community, as an observer of that, because I'm not in any community group code, none of that. um I have been on this journey for some time, and it has been a solo journey, me and my spirit guides. What I realized with as an observer about especially some of the newcomers that are coming out of religion into the spiritual community, or whatever that means, um and some people who seem like they kind of delve uh in and out of the spiritual community, but they've been doing it for some time. So they perpetuate certain rules um, and dogma based in religion and trying to transfer it into spirituality, or trying to like blend it. Like some of their you can tell their roots and their teachings are religion based, and they try to blend that same way of thinking, that same systematic way of thinking and approaching religion to spirituality. And that is one of the first signs you can tell when a person has not leveled up in spirituality, has not been through certain initiations, or has not passed their initiations into spirituality. because going back to that, some of the things that some of the uh, points that I touched on in the last video, as you're going through these different initiations, these this the unconditioning, uh, the relinquishing of the brainwashing and the cleansing that you're going through, a lot these things that you're going through is to trust your intuition, to align yourself with your purity, and your purity aligns yourself with divinity. When you align yourself with divinity, you're able to see things beyond any sort of taintedness. You're able to perceive things without it being tainted. And so that is the exercise of opening your third eye. As you begin to shed aspects of yourself, you begin to operate not in the physical realm and how you perceive things physically, but how you see things intuitively. How you perceive things intuitively is the spiritual realm, and that's seeing things not with your physical eyes, not seeing the world through your physical ways of being and doing. It's taking it's you going beyond that, and you're seeing things from a spiritual perspective. And that is no easy quest, right? That's no easy that is not an easy thing. A lot of people have lost their minds when they try to do this too quickly. You have people who try to do it through shrooms, different kind of like, you know, things to help them see things on a spiritual level physically, when really, if you just, not even if you just, but focusing on your breath and focusing on your path, there's no rush to this. You're not doing this to rush. Anytime you feel like you're rushing something or you're trying to get to a certain level, that is the ego. You are still involved in the ego. And the idea that you're dissolving the ego is not necessarily the end game, but the process, but it's part of the process to get to another space. So when you have people who are Christian or Buddhist or Israelite or more, these different titles, uh, it's not that they are doing anything wrong. It's just that those are different steps that you take in aligning yourself with divinity and what that means to you. Everything is a stepping stone on your path and on your journey. So to even think that you are here to wake somebody up out of something that is really none of your business is a clear sign that you are still completely indulged in ego, and how you perceive that, how you interpret that, that is based on you. If you see it as good or bad, that's based on you. But the ego is not necessarily a bad thing. all of us are involved in our ego in some sort of way because we are on this 3D realm. So it is necessary to understand the ego and to learn how to uh, work with the ego and collaborate with the ego in this particular realm that we are in. I see people talk about, I'm trying to see if I can think of something off the top of my head that I've seen where people will say like uh you know, if a person do something to me, I ain't worried about it because it's going to be karma. And it's like, well, how you're perceiving that is the karma, because this is all about perspective. So if you perceive that someone is doing something to you, that is the karma. Or what if what is happening to you or the experience that you're experiencing is because of something, is because of an action that you took in another space, and now you're facing that particular mirror facing back at you, and instead of you facing the mirror and recognizing that this mirror is mirroring back something within me that I need to see within me from another person, from another situation, instead of you observing it and recognizing that there's part of you in that, opposed to you demonizing it and calling it and judging it and creating judgment within it to victimize yourself in a situation. That is the energy of karma. And to look at it that way is perpetuating that same systematic way of being into your realm of existence. So, that same sort of dogmatic way of thinking and doing that religion has taught you, you are now trying to blend it into spirituality. So, basically, you are putting the same restrictions and shackles that religion has onto your spirituality. That means it's not really spirituality. You're just transferring data from one particular space to the next space. You're not cleansing or healing anything. You're just moving it from one spot to another. So that's something that we all want to be cognizant and aware of, because that's one of the many traps that I see people in a perpetual loop that they continue perpetuating. And that's just one example off the top of my head. Wanting to see negative things happen to someone because of what you feel like, because what you feel like is happening to you is a cyclical pattern that will have you stuck. Because wanting to see things, wanting to have proof is still living in the vibration of the patriarchal system, in the proving of I have to see it to believe it, opposed to the knowing of your intuition and your intuitive nudges and your intuitive lifestyle that you're building and building a strong base off of and operating out of that space. Because when you're in the spiritual lifestyle, when you're making it a lifestyle, of course you're going to go back and forth. Of course you're going to teeter. But at a certain point, you're going to have to make a decision to walk that middle path. And as you're beginning or continuing on walking that middle path, there you will do things that will not make sense to you sometimes, and maybe it may make sense to you, but other people looking in it that's not on your journey will not understand why you're doing it because they're seeing it from the physical aspect. And like I said, even you may even question it, and that's okay. But to still go with it is to still go with it is an initiation in itself to build trust in the spiritual realm and to exercise that muscle of your intuition and experiencing and living beyond the 3D realm or beyond the physical consciousness. Okay. Remember that this is not a race. This is not a race. This is a soul's journey. It's not a race. All right, I think that's it for now. I think that is it for now. Yep. Until next time, people, peace.